I have Kunle with me here. Hi, Kunle. Good to have you on the Fireside Chat. And, we'll be talking about, something interesting, something you like to speak about, which is the relevance of soft skills in project management. So, you're a project manager and, this is very key with regards to, how we handle projects, as BAs or as PMs. And, whatever you do, really, soft skills are very key. So on that note, I'd like you to, introduce yourself and, tell us a bit about you.
I trained as an architect for some years back home in Nigeria. And then I'm also a project manager. I'm a training consultant. I'm a change management specialist. For a number of years, I worked with one of the largest not-for-profit organizations back then in the country. And we went through a process of, change management, urban infrastructure, renewal, setting up a project management office. And so that's where most of the things I will share with us today, that's where I really had the opportunity and chance to practice that. And that's what I teach and what I preach. Because I honestly believe that in order for us, I'm a person for personal development. So at every stage in my life, I always look at what am I into, how is it helping me, how do I move on from this, but most importantly, how do I utilize this in the real world? Because really that's what it's all about. The workplace, where you're involved, the people you're involved with, the firms you're involved with, how do you become effective and efficient in what you do? So that's a simple summary.
All right, awesome. So, you say this is something you like to, speak about, which is soft skills. So, when we say soft skills, what do we mean? And I've seen some documentation and some write-up that sort of mixes hard skills with soft skills. So, I would like you to kind of, enlighten us on what soft skills are.
So, a simple definition, soft skills are a combination of skills which include but might not be limited to people and social skills. And I want us to take note of that, especially the people skills. For me, the simplest way is how you relate with people in whatever you do, wherever you're engaged. And our soft skills are meant to complement our hard skills. So again, soft skills, hard skills. Hard skills are simply, stuff like technical competence, working with machines, working with systems, computers, writing or reading. So if you have those as hard skills, then you now have the soft skills. And I'll give examples. There are quite a lot, but I'll just give some. So stuff like communication, networking, empathy, responsibility, leadership, problem solving, critical thinking, integrity, and it can go on and on. But that's just a short list of soft skills.
All right. So people would say that this should be second nature to anyone who works with people, right? Because, as a project manager or a business analyst, you're working on projects. So you're working with, various people that we typically call our stakeholders. So people would say, oh, I definitely have this, right? I mean, because I do this at work, then I have this. I don't really need to learn how to be better at this because I do have this. I communicate with people, I listen, right? I'm a leader, I lead my team. So so clear this up for us. Does everyone have this soft skills? Because people believe I already have it, but I need to learn more about it.
As an individual, as a professional in your workplace, what exactly are your goals? What do you intend to achieve? So let me ask some questions. I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. That's the way I learn. That's the way I teach, right? So think back to some of the places you have worked before. Now, who did you prefer to work with? The techie guy or the people person? You have those who are very skilled with technology, who are good with apps and software and all of that. And you have people who can come in and the meeting is not going the way as planned and, they just make everything go well. So reflect on that. Who did you prefer to work with? Right? So I've had people say, oh, yes, I work with people. One of the things I noticed over all the years that I've been working, you have a group of people who work in an establishment or a firm, and then only one person out of them gets, I'm not sure I want to use the word promoted, but just continues to progress in their career, right? And moves forward. And people are wondering, oh yes, but we're doing the same thing. Well, there's that little difference. And guess what? It's not something that is pretty much that obvious at times. So you might think that you're a people person. You might think you have the skills, but you're not the person to tell yourself. People around you determine that. It depends on who you are and where you're coming from. You might decide and say, I'm okay with the work I do, that's fine, and just continue to move on. But for me, like I said, I'm always about personal development. And I have noticed in all the places I've worked, companies and firms I've worked with, it is those people who have these skills, that make faster progress than the rest.
So let's go into the soft skills themselves. So let's start with communication, which I find is, a very relevant and key soft skills. Let's talk about communication. How relevant is communication, and how can communication skills help you to grow into project leadership?
I think personally, and this is my personal opinion, I think communication is the most important soft skill anyone can have.
Sure.
Right? For me, over the years, so like I said, for about 10 years, I worked with this organization, and it was a very long process. We had a team of about 200 people.
Okay.
Working on this project. And we had one team lead, right? And one of the it was really interesting. So we would have meetings, and can you imagine how rowdy these meetings would be?
With 200 people?
200 people, yes, not kidding. So it was a very large organization,
Yeah.
So we'd have these meetings.
That's a town hall.
Yeah. It was almost like, in fact, it was like a mini town hall meeting, right? And the team lead was also my mentor. And this was a guy who had seen it all. He owns one of the largest firms in the country, and he still had time for all of this.
Yeah.
And after the meeting, of course, each head of department had to go see him for one issue or the other. And I noticed that at every point in time, people would see him, and he would just stay there and listen. Don't forget, I'm focusing on the listening aspect. So at times, somebody will be talking to him for like 1 hour, and this guy is there just standing and listening. I used to get peeved, right? And I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? Well, guess what happened? After everybody presented their case, he will give his judgment, and everybody will accept quietly and go their way. And over time, as we got involved with this organization, I realized the power of listening. And so everywhere I have worked, one of the most difficult things for a project manager to do at times is to listen. So you're in charge of meetings, right? You're leading a meeting, you have a team of about, whatever number, and people are talking, and you want, your opinion. This is what you think. These are the resources we think we should use. This is the limit we think we should go. These are the risks involved. At times, the tendency is there for you to just continue talking without actually listening to. You know what I found out? And again, one of the key things I would love to tell people is this: put it into practice. When you allow people to talk, right, even things that they didn't plan to say will come out. There's a lot to communication: verbal communication, non-verbal communication, body language. When you're talking to people, there are lots of that.
Yeah.
But basically, it's easy to put into practice.
Yeah, for sure. And what you're saying really resonates with me, because I've worked with the PM who, when we had our, status update meetings, she just ran it like it was her, it was her show. And it was like, you couldn't say a word. This is how it should be done. Get it done. This should be done. This is the due date for this. Why is the status of this red? Like, not even, asking to really understand why. And then, people never even just like being in the meetings, or even when she's ranted for, 30 minutes more, and then she's now doing a round table at the end. Everybody says, I have nothing to say. But actually, people definitely would have things to say, but because of the way you lead, you lead that project and you lead the meeting, people don't even feel like they're a part of the team. You're not even listening to them and understanding why things are not going the way they should go, right? So communication is so key. And it goes beyond just speaking, right? But also listening to people.
And it takes years of practice.
Mm.
It takes years of practice. So let me just list out. So how do you practice effective listening? It is so number one, the first thing is patience. So how did I start out? We had meetings, people would talk, and I would always want to, come in. Oh, we should have done this. No, that's not the right way. That's not the proper way. And immediately I found out that once you cut someone off mid-speech, right, they shut down. And I'm talking to project managers and project leaders out here. Just observe. You need both loads of patience.
Yeah.
And some of us are not wired that way, right? So it's something you just need to continuously practice. And you can have accountability partners. You can have, somebody, maybe a project coordinator, somebody works with you on the team and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. There's nothing absolutely wrong. I deal with lots of people. I've worked with people so many years, my senior. I've worked with people so many years, my junior. I'm comfortable with anybody because I learn from everybody, right? So patience, practice, mutual respect. As when you talk with someone, if someone respects you, the utterances, the attitude, the gait, the way people you are, and that's what puts people at ease.
Yeah.
We're having a discussion right now, and we're going back and forth. Your mannerisms, the way you respond, that makes me. So the first 1 or 2 minutes of our conversation, immediately I can decide, right, that okay, this is a conversation I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah. Or
right there and then, first 3 minutes, you shut down. All right, so everybody just wants this to end so we can go our ways.
Yeah.
And like I said again, some of us, you might only work in a small firm, you only deal with, 2 or 3 people. There are those who work with, like I said, you work with 200 people, mega organizations. You must cope, right?
Yes.
And then, of course, you learn to withhold judgment. Give people the benefit of doubt.
Yeah, and that brings it to emotional intelligence because not everyone is emotionally intelligent is what I find. Being able to decipher how to handle some situations, what to say, how to say it, is a critical skill with regards to leadership. Yeah. And I find, and this is something that I feel like a lot of people, in senior management should take back if they ever see this, is, constantly, training people who are in leadership positions or people you're grooming for leadership, about soft skills, because there's people who were just thrown into, a management or leadership position by virtue of, you've been in the company for 10 years, or you've been on this team for 5 years, or, you've delivered on this project, so therefore you should lead. But, they didn't really know how to lead, right? So they're thrown into those situations where they're leading people and, they don't have these communication skills. They lack empathy. They're not emotionally intelligent. I find that, sometimes people, it's not just in them and they just found themselves in those positions. I worked with someone who, she was just thrown that. So somebody quit and they're like, oh, well, you're next in position based on years of experience in this company, and they just put her there. But honestly, she wasn't ready for that.
If you're not a good follower, you can't be a good leader. People will, take me on that. But from what I've seen, like, again, don't forget, I keep saying this is based on my own personal experience. So people might have other views. But if you can't, if you haven't learned to serve, is that the word to use? No matter what, if you haven't learned on the battleground, you haven't taken it all. By the time you get to a leadership position, and again, it can go either ways. Some people will take it so bad that now they want to take it out on, oh, okay, right. So when I was in a junior position, yeah.
I was treated, this is what I was done.
So now it is my turn, right? So now I'm the boss. And so you guys must go through, come on. At the end of the day, if you check back, if you look at people over time, all right, do you want to just be that boss who, before anybody can see you, they have to go through layers of security. And then when they finally see you, you look up and you're like, oh, you have 1 minute, spill it out.
Yeah.
right? If you're comfortable with that and your work is getting done, the company is making money, oh, that's fine. But at the end of the day, again, go do the research, go check.
Yeah.
It's profit making. Revenues is not always the key, factor.
Yeah.
Like I said again, why do people stay at jobs? Why do people have large turnovers? Why do companies have large turnovers, right?
Yeah.
Let's go and check some of these reasons. The top reason is the manager they were working with,
With the boss, yeah.
the boss they were working with. So it's a matter of choice.